Everyone, welcome to my session 5 teaching memo. I am starting this document, or I have started this document up in Quebec City, Canada. Dr. Laura always wanted to come here in the fall or come there in the fall, but I don't think she meant the late fall. It has been in the 30s every day, but we were prepared and did a 90-minute ghost tour around the city on Friday night. Very informative. It was a lot of fun. It snowed Saturday night, so Sunday morning was very sloppy. Getting out of our Airbnb and heading home. We are now in Saranac Lake. We visited one of my former students and one of Dr. Laura's former students here in Saranac Lake. Had a nice time last night going out to dinner. As I began writing this memo, I was recovering from an 18-inning, 3:30 a.m. finish to the World Series Friday night. Dr. Laura cashed it in after the 8th inning and woke around 2 a.m., encouraging me to come to bed. Not happening for a die-hard Red Sox fan. So I was paying the price on the next day. And we lost. But the good news is the Sox are world champs. Thank you very much. Okay, a little housekeeping. I want to remind everyone that I have office hours. No one has taken advantage of those, but I just want to remind you that I am available every morning during the week from 9 to 11 and Monday nights from 7 to 9. Actually, if you text message me, I could be available almost any night. But I don't just turn Zoom on and sit there and wait. So you have to text message me if you're interested in having an appointment for office hours. Just want to remind you that is available. I am available to meet with you one-on-one or a small group. I spent a lot of time last week or this week grading double entry journals. And I'm about halfway through, or maybe a little more for those who have submitted them. Several of you haven't submitted them yet, but don't worry, I don't take points off for late submissions. The errors I saw fell into two main categories. One, you did not react to most of the big ideas. That's why I had you do the grade the DEJ's activity, so you could see like Exemplar 2 and Exemplar 1 were good examples of what I was looking for. As many of you saw, Exemplar number 1 stopped annotating and didn't do the tiers of intervention, the MTSS section of Salvia. So many of you didn't mention that either. So one of the reasons I changed it to DEJ to annotating the text is because of the detailed description of progress monitoring, including 1, gap analysis, 2, rate of improvement, 3, goal and trend lines, and 4, sample forms that you can use to document all of that. Many of you reacted in a note-taking style or a paraphrasing style, just summarizing what the quote said, or summarizing a connection to that quote. Instead of having an opinion of it. That's what I'm looking for you to react to that text. So that's what I mean when I say writing in a conversational style. I'm looking for your opinion of what you're reading. As I told one student, I'm trying to get cognitive empathy, or a glance inside your head. I'm hoping you use my feedback to improve on the next and last DEJ. It's for this reason that the first DEJ is weighted much less than the last one. A grading practice I hope you all will consider. If you're doing the same project over and over again, if you're having writing assignments throughout your session, you should weight your first ones much less than your last one. Your last ones should be your ones that you count the most, because you've been given them feedback, and each attempt should have improved. Finally, make sure you check my comments on your initial discussion board post. I'll be making them this week. Many of you are still making APA errors. You should not leave graduate school without knowing proper APA. Finally, you should continue working on the 2 anchor activities. I received an email this week saying, whoa, what's this? What are these 2 things? What do they do? And as you can see, let me get into every session, there is a summary of what we're doing. And many of you may skip over this, I don't know, but you can see here there are anchor activities. One is the vocabulary in your own words that you should have been filling out from the beginning. The next one is the baseline survey that you should have been filling out from the beginning, except this baseline survey has the same questions as the first one you took, but this one you need to have citations from the course to support your comments. So just another reminder that those things, you need to be doing those things. All right. Some big ideas from Hard as the Dickens. This is one of my favorite discussion boards. You probably hear me say that again when we get to the grading discussion board. Because most of my students come into this course with strong preconceived notions about the usefulness of large-scale standardized tests, and it's usually negative. And most leave with a different mindset after they see the time, the care, and the expense that goes into creating them. Many bash them without knowing the intricacies of how they are made. Many of you have dived into the discussion on the test creation process. As you no doubt can tell, I have created this discussion for a reason. Educators are not shy about bashing these tests without any knowledge of reliability, validity, absence of bias, pilot testing, or the standardization process. It is okay to use your own testing experience as a start, but you then must go deeper and find out how psychometricians account for test anxiety, poor testing conditions, and individual difference in test takers. My goal is not to change your perspective, but to give you a wider view so that you can talk about them more intelligently, more informed. Many of you have commented that you were unaware of the many intricacies. Many reacted to the expense of testing and cited the article in course materials by Chingos on the overall cost to states. To my surprise, many of you saw that the overall cost, percentage-wise, is very small when compared to school districts' total budget. You can't buy much with less than 1%. The state assessment are criterion reference tests based on our standards, our state standards. New York State Education hopes to have tests based on the new next generation state standards by 2019. So that's next year. Theoretically, everyone could get a 4 on a criterion reference test. They are not normed or on a standardization sample based on the census. Instead, they are pilot tested to see how the questions are working based on their difficulty. One of the issues with pilot testing is how do you get students to take it seriously if it does not count? The state has wrestled with this, embedding sample questions within the actual test, but they got resistance from parents and some teachers. Why should they be taking these questions if they don't count? So quite the dilemma. You might want to talk about that in this week's discussion board. One of my goals is to get you to look at your own test creation process and use the large-scale test to evaluate teacher-made tests. Several of you wrote about your own process. In section 6.4, one of my former students explained that her strategy for her high school social studies class was finding and creating good questions and have a colleague in the department chair proofread them. And still, they found mistakes. This is much more than the teachers I have supervised have done. Most took them right from the textbook company supplementary materials, didn't have them checked for fairness, didn't have them checked for mistakes, and just used them year after year after year. I've added a teaching memo post to each discussion board group. I encourage everyone to take a crack at this. Wiggins gives a bit of the blame for poor test results on teachers' lack of assessment literacy. Don't get angry, just respond. All right. Don't forget to watch my assignment video, and I will see you in 1 week.